to the Married at First Sight Season 12 Episode 3 review. This is Couples Couch with
Pat.
And I'm Cam. Let's get into this episode.
Oh
my God. But before we do, let's recap Episode 2 so we can remember what happened last week before we get into last night's episode. All right, so let's recap Episode 2. So Episode 2, they showed 3 couples getting married. They showed Clara and Ryan. They showed Virginia and Eric, and Brianna and Vincent got married. Virginia was seen being really aggressive with the drunk kisses, like, while Eric was like, while it's great and all, it's a little bit overwhelming. I just met this girl 3 minutes ago, and she's just like all in my mouth. Like, so it's like.
But he was giddy. Like, because
he finds her attractive. So he enjoys it. So, but at the same time, he felt overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Virginia was throwing back shot. Getting lit before her wedding, during her wedding, and we shall see what happens after her wedding. On the other end, Clara was rambling on and on about her Nikes. And meanwhile, Ryan's ear was wearing out because he couldn't take no more. He was like, okay, enough of this. And then on the other end, we had Brianna, who was so excited because Brinson, I just put them together, Brianna and Vincent. Vincent was holding her hand like this versus like this.
Because he clutched my hand like this instead of holding it like this. When he holds my hand like that, I feel as if he'll be my secure blanket.
I know we're going to make it. Because we hold hands like this and not like this. Oh, hey!
She says he holds her hand like this. And he doesn't hold her hand like that. But when he holds her hand like this, she feels very secure and protected. Here's what she don't know. When you get married, 10 years down the line, if your husband holds your hand like this versus like this, you're going to get aggravated any which way he touch your hand.
Stop.
Why is you holding my hand?
Hot. We live in Texas. It's too hot.
Why are you holding my hands? You think I'm gonna float away? Like, I can walk. I don't need you to hold me. Like, it's gonna. She was so excited. She was so happy. I'm gonna chop it up to she's a newlywed, and she was just excited.
Yeah,
so,
they're reaching.
Final scenes of episode 2 shows Paige and Chris are next to be married. Chris is at the altar. Paige is in the lobby waiting to walk down the aisle. And right as she's about to walk down the aisle, they do what? End the show.
Yeah.
And that was episode 2. Let's get into episode 3.
Let's get it.
So they open up the show with Chris still at the altar, Paige in the lobby getting ready to walk down the aisle. They open the door, she walks down the aisle.
I have to have that initial attraction. That's important for me.
This is it.
Chris says,
Oh,
but he has a smile on his face the whole time as she's walking down the aisle, even though he said that. So I don't really know what that meant in that moment, but he goes down. She goes.
What you mean you don't know what that meant? Everybody that saw it know that wasn't a, oh, shit. That was a, oh, shit. And the whole time he's standing there looking like the before picture on a oxy pad. Like,
Noxzema.
Noxzema.
When's the last time we seen Noxzema commercials?
That boy got Mount Rushmore on his face. Talk about somebody else ain't attractive. Them bumps on your face ain't attractive.
So Paige gets down to the altar. They say their vows. He's smiling. She's smiling. Whatever. They get to the lobby where they start their exchange, and he asks, what is her profession? She's an accountant. She asks him, what does he do?
Entrepreneur, what do you do?
I'm the youngest black franchise owner of a particular brand in Atlanta, and
He says that he's a young black.
No, the youngest black franchise owner of a particular brand.
What does that mean? Like, and I'm surprised she didn't say to him, what the hell does that mean? Like, why can't you just say what it is? Like, why?
Probably didn't want to put the brand out there. They didn't get approval to be on the show or something.
Maybe, okay. Maybe that could be true. Okay.
Yeah, what he
The
owns.
youngest black person. Like, she knows you're black. Like, we don't have to.
I don't care what he owns. He's still lame.
It was
Dude
very
is
lame to
lame.
me. It was very lame.
He's a lame.
So then she goes on to ask him, or he asked her how many tattoos does she have, and he shows her that he has one tattoo. She says it looks fresh, and he's like, oh, it is, because I just covered up my ex's name that we got tattooed on each other last year. Why? All the things you don't say to your spouse, your fresh spouse that you just married on your wedding day.
These are all things you say to a spouse you don't like.
This is true too. This is true. I was like, he didn't have to. It wasn't warranted.
No,
it wasn't warranted at all. And then he brings up, or she brings up, do you like dogs? And she tells him that she has a Yorkie. Is that what she said?
A dog.
And then he's like, oh, my ex had a Yorkie.
my ex had a dog, so
Oh. Was it a Marquis said?
it's a Yorkie.
Oh, okay.
They're stubborn.
I'm thinking, what is going on? Talking about an ex and comparing me to her. Like, oh, wow. My ex had a Yorkie. I'm like, is she your wife?
What is up with him bringing up this ex and everything they had going on in the very recent past? I guess because it's so fresh on his mind, he can't forget it. So it's like, she's looking like, okay, why does he keep bringing up his ex? His ex, shoot. His ex, and why is he comparing the two? Like, fresh out the door, they can't even get 5 good minutes into their marriage, and the comparisons are being thrown every which way.
Right, because he's lame.
Next, in the same conversation, he brings up that he was engaged to his ex. And that's when she's like, well, this isn't really a huge red flag. This is a yellow flag. And I'm like, how is this a yellow flag?
Obviously, the elephant in the room is the fact that this man was engaged. It's not a huge red flag, but it does raise a yellow flag.
This is a red flag. Dr. Viviana, Dr. Cal, Dr. Pepper, somebody needs to come out and end this situation here, because this is a train wreck ready to happen.
Yeah, this is like a 90s sitcom where the nerdy guy's on a date with the hot chick and he's got an earpiece in and the cool guy's like giving him hints, but he's just saying the wrong thing
All
at
of the
every
wrong things.
turn. Like, that's what this reminds me of. I just don't like Chris. Like, he is giving nothing for me to be like he's cool.
Hates Chris.
And I do.
No, we don't really hate him, but that song came up in my mind. That song came up in my mind when you said that. I'm just like, I don't understand why he brought up the tattoo, the dog, the engagement in the first conversation that you had with this woman. Of course, this is going to give her pause.
Yeah.
And let's pause right here and move on to the next scene.
Thank you.
Next couple to be married is Haley and Jacob, who also goes by Jake. They're seen getting dressed in their suites, and they're nervous, of course. And Jacob says he prefers a woman with a larger nose. I don't know why that is interesting to him, but that's his thing. And he was kind of hoping that she would have one. So,
Why? I know, break. Why do you do that?
what?
The man say he go by Jake, and you continue to call him Jacob.
His mama call him Jacob. I'ma call him Jacob.
I'm glad you said that. Then why am I Pat? Can you call people by what they... So Jacob, he goes by Jake. Next, Jacob is doing this. Like, you don't care.
I put no respect on anybody's
I'm
name.
I'm sorry, I had to point it out. But that's my bad.
Okay.
Jacob and Haley.
Jacob and Haley, aka Jake. Okay, so anyway.
2 dry pieces of toast standing next to each other.
She gets down the aisle, and Jake is as stiff as a board.
That if you ever got into an argument, skip the flowers. Just book her a plane ticket to go on a last-minute vacation, and all is forgiven. Make sure you bring home plenty of wine. If you want to win Haley over, you will need to win over her dog, Sophie. So grab a lint roller because your lap is about to be occupied.
I didn't know if Jake was at his own wedding or if he was the doorman to the wedding.
You are not on the list. You cannot get in.
I'm like, dude is mad stiff. He's just like...
Loosen up, dude.
He's like... They're telling all kinds of jokes, all kind of interesting things about one another, and he's just... Is it the nerves? It has to be the nerves. I'm hoping this is just not how he is on a regular basis because it's too much. It's team too much.
Yeah, I want to get to... Let's fast forward 2 episodes. I want to see them living together. Like...
That's what I want to see too. Anyway, let's fast forward to the lobby. So they say their vows, they walk out to the lobby, and they start talking about their professions, and, you know, of course, the same old, same old. And he asked her, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a cook are you? She said, like, a 7.5. And I guess they got on the topic of, like, what they like to eat. And he brought up that he likes to eat steak and eggs for every meal. Like, literally every meal. Like, I can't even eat leftovers 2 times, you know, back to back. Much less the
just because he eats steak and eggs.
I don't want it. I don't want the same thing.
But he's a bodybuilder. He needs the protein.
Yeah, he said it was a special diet, and then before he knew it, it just became his thing. So it's just like, but geez, I mean, I can't even have Thanksgiving for too many days before I'm like, okay, I don't want this.
But speak for yourself. I will eat Thanksgiving damn near to Christmas.
He will too. And he's like, no, we have to stop. There is a cut off. Thanksgiving is on Thursday. We don't eat this past what? Saturday evening.
You don't eat it.
Ish. If that, like, that's pushing it. That's pushing it.
I'm pushing.
Push it T over here. All right, let's go move on to the next
push
scene.
and eat.
Next few scenes show the couples taking their pictures with their family and friends. And Paige tells her bridesmaids that during the ceremony, she felt like the chemistry was off between them, that she's worried about that because he was reading his vows and he was kind of like, you know, I have papers. He was just like here with it and didn't really look up and create the connection. So
maybe he struggles with reading. You can't make fun of people struggle with reading.
I didn't.
You just laughed at him. As a formal reader or struggler of reading, maybe he had to concentrate. Like if you told me right now, read the second paragraph, my eyes are not gonna come off this sheet. And I'm gonna read ahead too. So it's gonna go slow. I'm not gonna do it right now.
Please
but
don't.
Maybe he was putting his full attention on his vows. Huh?
Nevertheless, she said she felt disconnected. And and that's it.
Disconnected from the person you just met?
She was expecting the sparks, you know? I guess that's what she was saying. She felt like, why are you shaking your head at me? She said she's worried that the chemistry wasn't there.
It ain't.
I guess sometimes you
trust your first mind and run, girl. It ain't.
Sometimes you can meet people and feel connected, you know?
That's very true. I meet people and on site, I don't like them.
Jesus. Let's move on to the next few scenes. Next few scenes show the couples having their first dances at the reception. you know, Chris is asking Paige, like, are you a girly girl? Like, he's trying to figure out what kind of, I guess, girl she is. These are just questions that I don't know that people normally ask. Or maybe I'm so far out the game. I don't know, because we barely, like...
Yeah, I could care less if you're a girly girl or a tomboy. As long as you got girl parts, good to go.
You in there.
Yeah.
Haley and Jacob are still trying to get to know each other during their reception. They're talking about their homes and what it looks like. And then Jake randomly says his main concern tonight was being smelly. And he mumbles something.
No, I'm just soaking out. Like, I smell awful from like taking this food all day and like touchy sweaty. It's my only concern at this point.
Does anybody know what Jake said?
I couldn't pick it
I
up.
watched it like 4 times. I had Patrick look at it
He
like...
called me, can you come tell me what he said? No.
I'm like, somebody tell me what he said. And to this moment, I don't know what Jake said. This is when he was sitting at the table and they were eating their dinner, and he says he's worried about being smelly and something else. And I watched it like combination 7 times.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure it out. So drop it in the comment section below if you could understand what he said about being smelly and blah, 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 blah. So much so that Haley's interview, she was like, I don't think she knew.
No.
Yeah. So it's like, okay.
She didn't care because she was like, well, you ain't gonna smell me, I ain't gonna smell you tonight, so.
Let's
You
move on
can
to the
smell it all you want.
Let's move on to the next scene. Next scene. So Chris and Paige are at their reception, and he asked her, you know, or they get on the topic, I'm sorry, of the engagement again. And she's like, I really want to talk about this. And he's like, you got time? Another red flag. Like, what happened? And why are you the one here next to me with you in this complex engagement that you just broke off 30 seconds ago? And here you are marrying me. Like, I need answers from the experts.
I wanted to be on TV. They called me and told me I'd be on TV. So I dumped the chick I
I'm
was
upset
with
for her.
and came on here.
Chris begins to ask, is she a virgin? Does she have a high sex drive? He brings up how he's been fasting for 3 days. Touch myself activity going on. Why are you looking at me like that? And I'm thinking like, Chris, do we have to talk about this at the reception? Like,
Bro, over my pork chop? I gotta hear about your masturbation tendencies over my pork chop? On my wedding day? My wedding pork chop? I gotta hear about you masturbating? Come on, man.
Jesus.
Let the girl get through a meal.
I know. I'm like, Jesus, did we have to? And you can tell the girl, Paige, felt, uncomfortable because she's like, I'm not going to answer that question. And he's like, why not? I asked you. I answered all your questions. Yeah, but it wasn't on this time.
Yeah, I asked you, what do you do? Where did you go to school?
Like, where are you from? Like, I didn't ask you this. I just met you 30 seconds ago. I don't care what you did with your body this week. You know what I do, but I don't want to know while I eat my pork chop. You know what I mean?
You having the same thing I'm having?
My wedding pork chop.
Why do we gotta eat the same? Can't you get something different? Like, get the chicken.
The chicken
and then I can eat a little off your plate. You don't both of us sit here eating, and then if the pork chops are cooked by somebody that don't know how to season it, now we both sitting here over 2 bland pork chops. And potato salad with raisins in it.
I'm done. Next few scenes show that the couples are having their toast and wedding cake. And again, this is high level. I'm not going to get into who had what slice of cake and how they fed it to each other. I can't with that. So yes, they had cake. Yes, they had toast. And then the next few scenes also show them dancing and, just congregating with their wedding
Party
guests
goers.
and yes and
people.
Yeah.
They're homies.
I can't get it out. And the next scene shows the couples are mingling through the crowd, and they go and talk to their spouse's family and friends just to get some insight on who they married. Vincent talks to Brianna's dad and assures him that he promises to do right by Brianna. They seem to have like some kind of connection, like, you know, father-in-law, son-in-law type vibes.
Right, like, yo, and if you ever need a car, let me know. I'll pick it up.
That's Vincent, I guess. Then next you see Haley and Jake are talking to their spouse's family, and Jake seems so dry, like the brother's not even into him, like he's not even really wanting to pay attention to what he has to say. Like Jake is like, we can go, you know, hunting sometimes, and his brother, or Haley's brother's like, That was like literally his response. Moving on, we see Virginia talking to Eric's family and friends, and she asked them for some tips on dealing with Eric, and she said that she's a, you know, she likes to get out. Yeah.
She's like, what do you like to do? I like to go to concerts, parties,
festivals,
blah, blah, raves. Like,
he's like, no. He's like, Eric likes to stay home, watching movies, having a nice dinner. That's his jam, is what his friend said. And she looked like, boy, bye. I am not about to try to sit in that house after I just told you I like to live my best life out the door.
You can go out the door.
So then the next scene now shows Paige sitting down to talk to Chris's mom and dad and asking for some tips when dealing with Chris, and the dad had some interesting views.
It's his father-in-law and daughter-in-law, and this is the master key for him. Working the hours that he worked. When he comes home, he's exhausted.
Right.
He wants the touch of his wife. He wants to be intimate with his wife. And he don't want that to be once a month, but he wants that to be, once you understand and grow together, he wants it to be pretty consistent, you know? I mean,
so after listening to the mom's tips and the dad's tips, I'm completely creeped out. Especially by the dad's tips. The mom's tips, don't go weeks and months without talking to each other. I mean, if that's the case, then are we together if we aren't talking for months? I'm sorry, but I mean, are we still together if we haven't talked for months in the same household? Do people do that? Like, is that realistic? Like,
and if you do that, do you find peace?
Works. I mean, to each their own. Shut up.
We should try it. Work.
I knew you was about to say something. And then the dad's tips. Now, I don't know if this is tips for her or tips for his mom, Chris's mom, that he was trying to put out here.
Talking
to the mom.
To the mom through his daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
You know, the once a month shit ain't gonna work.
Yes. And he was like, you know, he comes home from work and he's tired and he wants to have the touch.
Bussy.
He wants the touch of his wife.
The intimacy.
And he wants to be intimate. How do you know your son wants these very exact things? Like, to me, I think
Sir, you need to pause, take a seat,
chill,
and realize that when it is time for me to be intimate with my husband,
right,
I don't need your fat head ass looking back at me like intimate. You know what I mean?
I think when somebody says to a father-in-law or a mother-in-law, what are some tips to help me? They're looking for, well, he gets angry off of the big stuff or off of the small stuff. Like, learn his buttons. Learn to not press each other's buttons. You know, like the general stuff. Don't tell me to be intimate with him and how often.
Yeah, nobody said
Creep squad.
Yeah. Can you give me some tips? Well, the biggest tip I can give you is the tip.
Jesus. I'm moving on to the next scene.
Now that we're back from the tip, let's go to the next scene.
The next few scenes, Chris is talking to the Paige's bridesmaids, and he said so many things that we're just going to have to break it down. So first he says, I was recently engaged. Red flag city. Why would you tell the bridesmaids this to give them pause? They're already here to judge you.
Yeah.
And you're here funneling information for them to judge you. So it's like, you've already mentioned this how many times now at the
That's
wedding?
what I was going to say. He keep going back to it like it's cool.
He's not healed. The bridesmaid asked him, or she didn't ask him, but she said she doesn't know if he's healed from this.
Yeah.
And it's like, apparently he's not, because that's all he's talking about at his wedding. He's making his ex so relevant. You know what I mean? If it's supposed to be something in the past, why do you keep talking about this? Next, he says to her bridesmaids that Paige is not somebody he is used to having. Like, he doesn't see her as a trophy wife.
But Paige is a trophy wife. That's out the box. But
I don't think she's a trophy wife.
I feel like she checks a lot of boxes and she's aesthetically pleasing, but I also feel like
She got the body of a goddess for sure.
we know this.
It's there. She has a fat ass. This is what it is.
While the friends are insisting that, yes, she's a trophy wife because they're trying to have her back. Like, she's, a good, nice girl. They of course, believe their friend is beautiful. And he's like, no, I don't see her as a trophy wife. Like, I'm used to the real pretty girls. And she's just not what I'm used to seeing or used to having. Why would you say this to the friends?
Because he's a bum.
Then he goes on to say, yes, she got a body of a goddess. She does have a fat ass. Like, what are you saying?
This dude can't be real. Like,
it can't be real. Like,
he's got to be showboating.
Something.
Like, he thinks it's funny or he thinks it's cool.
Right.
Like, and if he doesn't, if that's really how his mind works,
Jeez.
This dude got problems.
Jeez. And then there's more.
Yeah, he got problems along with them big ass bumps on his face. Like, you are no catch, bro. You're not cute from that. No one I've talked to that I know that is a woman that watches the show and has seen you says he's cute. I'm sorry, it hasn't happened.
There's more, y'all. But you're right. But there's more. He goes on to say that at first glance, he's just not 100% attracted to her.
So I'm not 100% attracted to her. Like, this is different from what I'm used to. But it doesn't mean that's just because that's what I'm not used to doesn't mean that I'm saying that she's the opposite of being beautiful. That's not what I'm saying at all. She's different, that's all. She's beautiful in her own way.
He is backpedaling so much. He is just contradicting himself. He's saying she's not attractive, but yet she's beautiful in her own way. But yet she's not a trophy wife, but she does have a body of a goddess. Like, so you're saying she has the parts that you want, but the face ain't there. Essentially, that's what he's insinuating. That's what I heard, and I felt offended for Paige.
I felt offended for Paige too.
Yeah.
And I just hope Paige has brothers.
Let's move on to the last few scenes of this episode. The last few scenes of this episode show the couples coming down the aisle, back down the aisle, I guess in their reception hall.
Yeah.
The wedding is now coming to a close. They're now entering their wedding night. They're all seen going back to their hotel rooms together and getting undressed and calling it a night. So
they ain't all calling it a night.
Who do you think? I was gonna ask. Who do you think is getting it in?
They almost got it in, kissing and taking pictures.
You're talking about Eric.
That's who's gonna get it in.
So Virginia and Eric is your bet that they're getting it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might be getting it in. I
think BB gonna wait a couple nights. I think my boy Vince gonna wait a couple nights. It's gonna take him a few. But she down.
Oh my God, her name escapes me. Brianna.
Yeah, she down.
She seems like she's really into him. Like she's really, really into him, and good for them. So.
And see, you messing. It's like this.
Oh no, she doesn't like this. She likes it like this.
Oh.
So.
That's too many knuckles.
It's a lot of.
You're locked in like
this. It's a lot of entanglement going on.
Yeah, you walking down the street like this. and you hear a gunshot, like it's gonna take a minute. Cause both of y'all gonna tense up and y'all knuckles is gonna hit. But when you like this, it's clean. Even if she holds on.
It's a clean swipe.
Yeah, even if she holds
Watch out
on.
before you take me out.
Even if she holds on, it slips right out. You out of there.
Just watch out before you take me out. While you do it.
My bad. I get excited.
Who do you think is gonna get it in?
Like
drop it in the comment section below. We love to talk about this. Like, it's just entertainment. But yeah, let us know who you think is gonna get it in on their wedding night. And that, you guys, is really the end of the episode. That's episode 3.
Here we go.
So drop your comments below, you guys. Let us know what you think of tonight's episode. Also, be sure to hit the like button to support our channel. And if I missed anything, hit us up in the comment section, because you know this was a high-level overview and I really didn't touch base on the really minute stuff. So we love talking to you. Hit us up.
As much talking as you do, there's no way you can miss nothing.
That's
Peace,
all
y'all.
we got for today.